Hola amor, bienvenidos, hello beautiful, and welcome. Today I would like to discuss The Richest Man in Babylon and a part of that book, The Seven Cures. So before I get into that though, I want to share some things that are unrelated, but hey, look at my outfit. I feel so happy. I really like this piece that I've pulled together. All the details just makes me really happy, and yeah, I want to share them. So my earrings match my nails and my dress, and just makes me feel so fun. This is the dress. Yeah, this is my look today, and I am super happy with it. So I wanted to share that. And also, my hair has gotten really long. Look at it. It's doing its thing right now. I'm letting it do its thing. As always, my allergies. So please do not mind as I continue doing that. So, The Richest Man in Babylon. Thank you for listening to me. Yeah, let's begin. This is like my first time reading it through completely, and even then I should really go back and finish or reread the last chapters of the book, because I listened to it, I completed it, the audio version, and I also like to sit down and read it too, so it I can digest it a bit more, and actually put my focus on it. And so yeah, I want to reread it definitely, and I want to study this book. I'm going to do that when I'm done with The Science of Getting Rich, which will be very soon. So, Richest Man in Babylon. Highly recommend this book. I think it's like a classic if we're talking about finances. So, how I found it online, there is a specific YouTuber. I forget her name right now. I think I don't know. When I remember, I will share it in another video, but she's really cool, and she talks about like cryptocurrency a lot. I really like her. The only thing is that some of her videos, they're clickbaity, and I get that, like I completely understand, but like they're on the darker side, like they have like a negative kind of viewpoint, which that is something that just stood out to me, so I want to share that. I forget, I think her name is like Soren, honestly. I'm gonna double check before I, say that. Let me see. YouTube. Someone's texting me and I want to text them back. Soren. Yeah, I think her name is Soren. JK, that's not what I expected to come up. Finances. I'm not sure. Okay, I really don't know. Maybe it's a completely different person. She's not coming up when I search her up. So, sorry about that. But yeah, I got that. I found this book through YouTube and that specific creator. Thank you for staying with me. I'm going to reply to someone real quick though. I have to. I'll be available later. So, the first cure. Start thy purse to fattening. Okay? Now we're beginning. The second cure. Control thy expenditures. The third cure. Make thy gold multiply. The fourth cure. Guard thy treasures from loss. The fifth cure. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. The sixth cure. Ensure a future income. The seventh cure. Increase thy ability to earn. And then I really like the chapter about Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. It is really, I love this book. Like, basically everything that I read I love. It's very well written, easy to follow. Um, Men of action are favored by the goddess of good luck. The 5 laws of gold. I also really like this point. The 5 laws of gold. Alright. This is written as though we were in ancient Babylon. So it might sound a little like Shakespearean, ancient, but when you like decode it for what it really means, it's powerful stuff. So don't let that deter you from absorbing the wisdom of these things, of these phrases, these laws. The 5 laws of gold. 1. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. So basically setting aside money, 1/10 of your earnings, and you're putting it aside and saving it, more gold will come to you in increasing quantity when you save your money and put it aside for your future and for your family, your future family. 2. Gold laboreth diligently and contently for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Invest your money. Number 2, invest your money. Make your money work for you. Employ your money. Okay? But now we're getting into number 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. So 2, you know that you want to invest it, basically, and gold will work for you when you find profitable employment. And 3 is saying that it will cling to the person who invests it wisely. So 2 is knowing that it can make money for you. 3 is being cautious and wise with by following the advice of men who know how to handle money. So not just listening to a friend who has this abstract idea. It's going to people who know what they're doing and seeking their advice, their wisdom, and applying that to your own set. So, number 4 is gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. So, number 3 is you have to guard your money, what you've earned. 4, gold will slip away from the person who invests it in businesses or purposes which he has no knowledge of. Basically, unfamiliar territory, you're just going in blind. In that field, your gold will slip away, your hard-earned money will slip away because you don't know what you're doing. And number 5, gold flees from the man who would force it to impossible earnings. Let me start again. So, the 5th law of gold. Gold flees from the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who alloweth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own experience and romantic desires in investment. So, you can lose your money when you are under the fantastical illusion that you can get rich quick, or you fall into schemes and traps and scammers. These are all ways that you can lose what you have earned. So don't really trust your own inexperience. If you don't know what you're doing, that is very risky. And high risk doesn't always mean high reward. That's basically, the 5 laws of gold. So I want to go back to the other ones that I was saying. was like a little brief summary. I would love to go into these more in depth too, the better I understand them. So, the first cure, start thy purse to fattening. Let me see if there's something that stands out to me that I want to share with you. Do exactly as I have suggested to the egg merchant. For every 10 coins thou placest within thy purse, take out for use but 9. When you make 10, only use 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once, and its increasing weight will feel good in thy hand and bring satisfaction to thy soul. It's the law of compound, I'm pretty sure, so it may not feel like much now, but it doesn't, at least 1/10 of your earnings should be put aside. At least 1/10. It really shouldn't be drastic. You don't have to make it something, but just this habit, it will begin to grow and you will feel satisfied by seeing, you know, all of it like increase. Let me see. Truth is always simple. I told thee I would tell how I built my fortune. This was my beginning. I too carried a lean purse and cursed it because there was naught within to satisfy my desires. There was nothing in there to satisfy his desires. But when I began to take out from my purse but 9 parts of 10 I put in, it began to fatten. So will thine. Putting some aside, literally just 1/10, and using only 9 parts, so living below your means. Now I will tell a strange truth, the reason for which I know not. When I ceased to pay out more than 9/10 of my earnings, I managed to get along just as well. I was not shorter than before. Also, ere long, did coins come to me more easily than before. Surely it is a law of the gods that unto him who keepeth and spendeth not a certain part of his earnings shall gold come more easily. When you set this aside, like a little portion, things just start moving in your direction more. I'm sorry, I'm still reading. I guess I'm going to share this one because I've been looking at it. Which desirest thou the most? Is it the gratification of thy desires of each day, a jewel, a bit of finery, better raiment, more food, things quickly gone and forgotten? Or is it substantial belongings, gold, lands, herds, merchandise, income-bringing investments? The coins thou takest from thy purse begin the first. The coins thou leavest with, okay, goodness gracious. The coins thou takest from thy purse begin the first. The coins thou leavest within it will bring the latter. Okay, so basically, this is like instant gratification versus delayed gratification. When you are spending all of your money on things that like instantly gratifying you, so like your food or like this new pair of whatever, getting the latest items, spending, that will make you happy in the short term, right then and there. But when you set aside money and you start thy purse to fattening, you are thinking about things that can bring income-bringing investments, merchandise, gold, lands, herbs, or is it substantial belongings that you crave, according to the book? So yeah, that's really important to note. Start thy purse to fattening is really a question of your future and your present, like which one right now is more important to you. And he mentioned that when he did live off of 9 coins or whatever, or 90% of his income, things didn't really change. He still was able to live off of it, right? But the thing that did change is that when he started putting money aside, the 1/10, that created a current that allowed more money to flow to him. and it's fascinating to me. I love this conversation. I would love to gather my thoughts a little bit more, but this is what stood out to me right here, right now. Yeah, it's a great book talking about finances. If you really want to understand money, I would definitely say study it. Because to me, this is more financial advice. The Science of Getting Rich, to me, are the laws navigating wealth and how to bring in money. And I like the Richest Man in Babylon because I feel like I'm learning what to do with this money now that I have it, and what's the best way to go about it. So start thy purse to fattening. Your income, look at your income and save, set aside for the future. Think about that. It will pay off. You just have to be patient. Lots of things. It's very powerful. It's powerful. You're starting a movement towards you. Let's see. I want to go and keep reading. The second cure: control thy expenditures. Now I will tell thee an unusual truth about men and sons of men. It is this, that what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protest to the contrary. Confuse not the necessary expenses with thy desires. Each of you together with your good families have more desires than your earnings can gratify. Therefore are thy earnings spent to gratify these desires insofar as they will go. Still thou retainest many ungratified desires. All men are burdened with more desires than they can gratify. Because of my wealth, thinkest thou I may gratify every desire? This is a false idea. There are limits to my time, there are limits to my strength, there are limits to the distance I may travel, there are limits to what I may eat, there are limits to the zest with which I may enjoy. That is so beautiful. Alright, so basically he's saying the second cure: control thy expenditures, realize what you're spending your money on. And I really love that I can read this with also knowing about the science of getting rich. So it's beautiful. Our desires are beautiful, and our desires give us information. The fact that we have a desire is proof that we can realize it and we can acquire and obtain what it is that we desire, right? So this is actually the increase of life. As human beings, we like to grow. We love to live life, and we can do that when we experience different things. And money allows us to buy these different things and experience life in different ways, correct? So the increase of life and wanting more, it's a beautiful thing. It should not be shameful. It's okay to want more, and it's okay to ask for more. Always having that desire is natural, and you should have that desire to grow. But there is a fine line between knowing your desires and your necessities. So we have priorities. We have our basic needs, and we have things that are more, I guess, I want to say like luxury, or like a privilege, things like that, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. So just because you want, like, just because, let me think, you want to go on a shopping spree and get a whole new wardrobe, that is a desire. Is it a necessity? If you already have a wardrobe of clothes that are in perfectly great shape, that you absolutely love, right? So there's a difference. So understanding that and applying this information is important. Yes, you should be able to experience your desires, but be smart about it. Because if we are on the road to wealth, then we have to be conscious of what we are spending our money on and differentiate between our necessities and our desires. And it's wonderful to indulge in our desires and reward ourselves when these times come, but it's also very important to be cautious and conscious of where we are spending our money. Because the thing is that our desires will continue to rise, because it's so natural, and we, as human beings, we want to grow and experience more life and all of this stuff. We want to experience everything that life has to offer. Our desires are not going anywhere, okay? But we also have to make sure that we have a strong and steady foundation to getting our needs met first, and then we can indulge and reward ourselves. And yes, so it's literally instant gratification versus delayed gratification, this conversation. Let me think. All right. Study thoughtfully thy accustomed habits of living. Therein may be most often found certain accepted expenses that may wisely be reduced or eliminated. What have you been spending your money on? Track what you've been spending your money on. Some people really don't want to do this and they avoid it, but it's vital information. It really is. So track how much you are spending on different areas of your life. I do this with technology. I save my receipts, and I say, oh, I spent like $20 on cash in this item, and then I used my card for gas or whatever, and I'm tracking it. It helps me understand how much I'm spending within the week, how much I'm spending within the month. It's just very important. It really is. So don't put it off. Please don't put it off. Alright. Let thy motto be 100% of appreciated value demanded for each coin spent. Let thy motto be 100% of appreciated value demanded for each coin spent. I think this is what it's saying is spend it with appreciation. There's a different energy of spending with lack versus spending with appreciation. It is a different vibe, and you will see a difference when you do one versus the other. That was interesting. Therefore, engrave upon thy clay each thing for which thou desireth to spend. Select those that are necessary and others that are possible through the expenditure of 9/10 of thy income. Cross out the rest and consider them but a part of that greater multitude of desires that must go unsatisfied, and regret them not. Budget then thy necessary expenses. Touch not the 1/10 that is fattening thy purse. Let this be thy great desire that is being fulfilled. Keep working with thy budget. Keep adjusting it to help thee. Make it thy first assistant in defending thy fattening purse. Okay. Therefore do I rebel against the slavery of a budget which determines just how much I may spend and for what. I feel it would take much pleasure from my life and make me little more than a pack ass to carry a burden. Who, my friend, would determine thy budget? I would make it for myself, responded the protesting one. In that case, were a pack ass to budget his burden, would he include therein jewels and rugs and heavy bars of gold? Not so. He would include hay and grain and a bag of water for the desert trail. Thy purpose of a budget is to help thy purse to fatten. It is to assist thee to have necessities, and insofar as attainable, thy other desires. This is the foundation. You set aside 1/10, that begins to grow, you don't touch it. The other 9/10 that you are living on, right? This is the foundation. You are making sure that your needs are met first and foremost, so that we're not scrambling for rent, that we're not wondering how we're going to pay for groceries. Like, this is what you take into consideration when you budget the 9/10, right? This is the basic stuff, and that's why I love it, because it just says it so perfectly. Let's see. So once we make sure that our necessities are covered, like let's say rent, food, utilities, transportation, and I'm sure that there are other areas that I haven't touched upon, you factor that in for the 9/10, right? And then I guess leftover, that can be what you wisely use for your desires, okay? we won't be able to fulfill all our desires immediately, and that's okay. This is kind of the fun part, to see everything pay off. So as long as you can treat yourself a little bit here and there and have a little bit of wiggle room for, you know, a little bit of lavish, I don't know, luxury things, whatever you want, but like smart, please, you know. Let's see. Okay. It is, the purpose of thy budget is to help thy purse to fatten. I just love this part. It is to assist thee to have thy necessities, and insofar as attainable thy other desires. It is to enable thee to realize thy most cherished desires by defending them from thy casual wishes. It is to enable thee to realize, obtain thy most treasured desires, whatever it is that you truly want, your treasured desires, your cherished desires, by defending them from thy casual wishes. You are making something valuable. You are making something more valuable by not giving into like fleeting desires, just things that like might sound good in the moment. Like a bright light in a dark cave, thy budget shows up the leaks from thy purse and enables thee to stop them and control the expenditures for definite and gratifying purposes. Alright, so this then is the cure, the second cure for a lean purse. Budget thy expenses, that thou mayest have coins to pay for thy necessities, to pay for thy enjoyments, and to gratify thy worthwhile desires, without spending more than 9/10 of thy earnings. That is the beginning. That is just the beginning. There is so much wisdom and in this book. I'm excited to really go into it and practice these things myself. So thank you so much for your support. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Add your thoughts to the discussion below, your comments. I would love to know what you think. I'm open to positive, constructive criticism, things that are said nicely to me. I like that. So thank you so much. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day. You got this. It's possible. Keep searching, seeking, and applying in what works for you. I'm really proud of you. All right. Peace out, Girl Scout. Ciao.